Always ensure 60% of your cows are producing in the farm.
How do I know that my dairy farm is profitable?
By doing a good management and a business plan.
Hello dear farmers and to everyone watching this amazing episode. Welcome back to your favorite farming channel, Farming with the CEO, where we say farming is the way to go. I'm shooting this video on 27th at 4 p.m. and it is an amazing day because today I'm introducing to you a guest who have featured previously. He was the first person to give me a chance to interview him. That time I had around 500 subscribers, but currently as the year ends, I'm at 10,000 subscribers. And he is a special guest who is my friend, who is also a specialist in the same industry. I'm also a specialist because I'm a vet by profession. I'm also a dairy production manager, so you can invite me to your farm for consultations. I'll be sharing his story today because the last time I was here, he was starting the farm, not starting, he had a small farm, but he has been able to enlarge his farm in a very short period. And I want him to tell us his secret behind this one, because everyone has their secret. Even for me, I have a secret that every day I'm growing, every day I'm creating numbers, and without your support, I'm not the CEO. But thank you so much for subscribing, liking, sharing with friends, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell a farmer to tell a farmer. And I officially introduce you to a special guest, and I let him introduce himself.
My name is Paul Moneki. I am a farmer which I deal with dairy, pigs, poultry, and coffee. And I also do dairy and poultry consultation and also pigs. And I'm also a content creator on my YouTube channel, TikTok, and on Facebook as Farm with Paul.
Yeah, you have mentioned about a lot of things. What have you specialized in specific that you are doing, the activity that you are currently doing in your farm?
Largely, we specialize in dairy and coffee farming. But I think today we're going to talk more about dairy, which has been a project that we started small and we're growing every day, day in, day out, week in, week out, and at least we have been progressing very well.
Paul, I'm interested to know about your story. What inspired you to venture into dairy farming specific? And I know there is other kind of agriculture activities. Why is specific dairy farming?
Dairy farming, it's a long story, but when I got out of college, we didn't have, I didn't have a job to do, that is. So I came here to Karatina, where I used to live with my grandma, and he had one cow and also coffee. But now the interesting was, I tried to do what I learned in school through the cows. And because she was getting old, she told me like, because she cannot be able to manage even that cow, she should give it to me. Now the advantage that actually interested me more was the fact that the first results we got from that one cow, after applying some of the things I learned here and there in school, we had some very good improvement. To a point that the cow that was producing 5 liters, 6 liters, after proper feeding with just the locally available material, were able to produce around 15 liters after it calved. Through that, I was inspired to actually do more. And the best thing is, the cow that calved when, because of we served it for the first time, it gave us a heifer. So it gave me a motivation to actually continue pushing. And the best thing was, we had a ready market for milk. Now, as I had a chance to choose either to do the dairy farming or to actually look for employment. So, and in the process, the dairy farming sector actually overtook those to a point whereby I now have several dairy cows that are actually producing, to a point when I was called for a job that was being paid around 15,000, and comparing to what I was getting from the dairy cows, it didn't actually match each other. So I ended up being on the dairy sector. And also what I learned is something I've been interested for a very long time, because it's also something I learned in my tertiary education when I was in college. So farming has been in me all along.
Yeah, since you made that decision to be a dairy farmer, how is the journey so far? How can you explain it? Is it happy to be a farmer, a dairy farmer? Is it disappointing? How can you say about it?
Dairy farming has mixed reactions. Because there was a day where we milk very well, the market is very good, and you're smiling to the bank. And definitely when you have this, the money, It's actually something that actually every farmer is always happy when it comes to that. But some challenges that are always there: we have lost cows, we have lost calves, we have lost money in the same industry. And the more, when you are doing 1 cow or 2 cows, the capital was not a lot. Even from the hustle, your normal hustle here and there, you are able to feed that cow. But the moment they got to 2, 3 cows, they started being demanding more capital, more time, and more resources in it. So it has been a journey whereby we are happy at some point. Sometimes it's so discouraging because sometimes the feed cost goes very high. The production sometimes is very some production was quite low before we made a decision to actually do our feed planning. And also sometimes losing your animals, or even when the animals are sick. One thing is, when you are doing something passionately, you're directly attached to that animal. So whenever it's sick, you also feel like you're also sick at the same time. So it has been a journey of ups and downs, but we can't regret, because at least we are here where we are. We can be able to feed. We have workers working here. So it has been a growth journey despite with all those challenges.
How long have you been to this business?
We started back in 2019. Now we can calculate, now it's 6 years down the line, but we're still not yet, we are yet there, and we're still pushing to see that we one day achieve our targets.
Because today I just want to be a farmer for a day. How is it? Give us just a typical day as a dairy farmer. How is it?
A typical day as a dairy farmer is always very, very, very active, because we wake up at 2 in the morning, where we do some cleaning. Then we milk by around 2:30 to around 3:30. From there, we do the feeding, whereby we feed all the cows, and we feed according to their weight, their requirements, and their stage of production. Then after that, we'll have a rest a bit of that day, and at least get back to the cow shed at around 9:30 in the morning. By 9:30, what we do is we start cleaning again. Then we immediately at 10 we start milking, and by around 11 we are done milking, and we are feeding the third time. After that, we get back to around 4 in the evening, whereby we also clean, and we do the milking again, and also feed the cows for the last time. All along during the day when we milk, we ensure we are doing the records at the same time. During milking, we also observe our cows. During the same time, when you're milking, we ensure, and feeding, we ensure the cows has a good health, and that is why we are able to record if a cow has issues and all that activities.
I had a chance to go around your farm, and from the previous time I was here, the first video we ever did, and I saw Frisians. Even now you have Frisian breeds. Why specific Frisians, and you have not decided to choose other breeds such as Jerseys, maybe Sahiwals?
We are still in the growth stage, and as a country also, we are not in a point whereby we sell our milk in terms of quality. Now we are still selling our milk in terms of quantity, and the Frisian is what is able to produce quantity milk. So Frisian become best choice for us because the environment allows, and the high production rate. Despite it feeds more, but for the production side, we are able to get more from the same cow. And through that, I saw like because our target is more milk, Frisian always keeps that gap. But also in future, when we'll be able to stabilize the farm, whereby we can now say we are stable, we are no more increasing cows at that stage, we can also do trials of other animals. But for the moment, we are doing Frisians, and we are breeding them to a point. Now we are heading to be able to have our own pedigrees in the farm, and from there now we can start experimenting other animals when the farm is completely stable. But for now, let us deal with Frisians, more milk, more money, and cash flow in the farm.
Talking about breeds, there's to increase the stock rate in the farm, you have to do something called breeding. How do you ensure that you get the specific traits, the specific breed, the specific, and like the moment you breed the animal, how do you ensure that you get the specific breeds?
One thing is, we are very cautious in terms of breeding,
like high quality breeds in the farm.
We are very cautious about breeding, and when it comes to the topic of breeding, there are two things that matter: the father and the mother. So for us, what we do is, Because we know our cow and have been keeping records about the cow, we are able to know the traits that we don't want from that cow. Hence, when we'll be choosing a semen to actually inseminate that cow, we'll be able to choose according to the characteristics that we want the offsprings to have that are available to the mother and are actually in the negative side. So what we do is we always ensure we do our own selection in terms of the AI that that cow is going to be served. And for us to determine the AI that is going to be served to a certain cow, we always have to know the cows that we have. What are the characteristics they got? Are there the characteristics that you want to retain and some that you want to expel from the farm? And by that, we are able to select cows that suit the farm and also suit the animal itself. And by that, we are able to actually change that cow from low producing cow to high producing cow. And also we are able to change that cow from a cow that is high prone to mastitis to a cow that is quite resistant to mastitis. We are able also to change that cow from a cow with low fertility to a cow with at least an average fertility. And feed conversion rate, we are also able to do that through selection. Selection is very key, and that is how to breed. Because in where I meet a lot of farmers whereby you just go and ask a veterinary officer to actually come and serve your cow. That is not breeding. That is merely mating, whereby your aim is just to make sure that the semen reaches the ovaries, and that is it. But for us, we ensure we select the best traits that we want, considering the mothers that we have in the farm and our target goal. Yes.
Let's talk about feeding of the animals. So your animals are well fed. How do you ensure that they get the quality assurance is guaranteed in the fodders?
One thing, here in the farm, we feed 2 or 3 things. We feed silage and dairy meal, and sometimes when the cost of hay is low, we actually incorporate it. But at the moment, we are feeding silage and the concentrate. The silage, we grow it ourselves. And when we actually purchase it, we ensure we purchase at the best stage, whereby the nutrients are readily available. It's when we'll harvest that maize silage, which means we are able to give a fodder that has a very considerable amount of energy and also protein. And when it comes to our concentrates, we formulate our own concentrates. And by formulating our own concentrates, we are able to actually formulate concentrates according to the demand of the cow, which will be able to meet growth, production, and also reproduction of the same cows. So if by the time we formulate our feeds on that matter, from the fodder stage, very high good quality fodder and also very good quality dairy meal, you are able actually to meet the demand of a specific cow at the specific stage that that cow is in.
I know sometimes you do sell your heifers or your animals to other farmers outside there. How do you ensure that your farm meets market standards?
Okay, one thing is,
and what is the guarantee that the farmer knows that the moment I get an animal from your farm, how will it?
We don't sell our cows every day because we are not able to breed the cows, millions of cows every year. But at some point, we actually dispose some of the cows. And how we dispose some of the cows that we have in the farm is when they do not meet our requirement. For example, we have a target for our first cow, calving cow, should give us not less than 25 liters. Meaning if a cow calves and gives us around 20 liters, that cow is not suitable for our farm. But it's also a gold to some other farm because the same cow has does not have any challenge, but the production rate, there's someone else who has that target of, I need a cow producing 20 liters. Whereas in the farm, our target is probably 25 liters. By that, we can be able to cull that animal and sell it to other farmers who actually need that. The other thing that actually makes us unique in this field is when we purchase a cow from us or when we source a cow for you, we ensure that we take you through all the steps and we ensure that we are working with you for 3 consecutive months, whereby we ensure that yes, you're buying a cow from us, you have fodder security, you've already prepared your fodder. We show you how we can be able to feed the cow for production. We show you how to actually come up with a very good business plan for you to be able to manage your cows and at least work with you every step so that any challenge you encounter will help you through our experience and through our expertise. so that you can also grow together with us. Yes.
I'm interested to know about your approach to high milk production, because even for me, I want to go to my farm and maybe one day, if I'll be having a dairy farm, I want to be producing high milk.
High milk production is brought about by several things, which one of them is breed, and the other thing is feeding. The other thing that we actually consider is environment and comfort of that cow. Now, and for milk production, high milk production, I highly recommend someone to go for a good breed, good genetics, but environment should be standard for all the animals, like very good environment where they are sleeping, cleanliness, and other factor management factor. Now, why I insist on feeding in most cases, because if you have quality fodder, you will not require a lot of concentrate to actually produce probably 30 liters from one cow. But if you do not prepare yourself in terms of feeding, you prepare yourself, you do not have quality feeds, you will be forced to feed excessive concentrate to actually push that cow excessively. Which you know, if you feed your cows on excessive concentrate, some other diseases like acidosis will actually kick in, and your cow will not be producing for a very long time. So for a farmer who is actually starting, I'll actually advise you to start with a cow that will give you an average at least of 20 liters, so that you can also be in business and at least be able to keep your own forage. Then you can breed from there and breed for high milk production. But also remember, if you need high milk production, also the quality of your feeds and fodder should be of high quality, so that you can also be making money in the same sector.
I know farming is a business like others. What are some of the challenges that you have come across in the dairy farming sector that you can address out?
One of the biggest challenges is market, because we have a market. Milk has a very good market, but the problem is it's controlled by other factories and other manufacturers who are actually manufacturing yogurt and all that. So, and selling your milk to the cooperatives, you end up getting very low amount of money. For example, you can be having a production rate of around almost 39 shillings to 38. Then the cooperative will buy the same milk at around 40 shillings. So you are actually getting 2 shillings, which actually might not be sustainable probably for someone who is producing less than 50 liters of milk. The other thing, challenge is fodder, which now that one I always tell my farmers, like, you have to be prepared at least 1 year or 2 years if possible, which getting quality fodder in some seasons whereby there is not enough rain becomes a challenge to most farmers. But for us, at least we are able to talk of that. The other thing that becomes a challenge is actually other animal factors, where we come about heat stress, where we come about conception rate, because there is no farm that is 100%. Sometimes you have the conception rate, you're supposed to serve this cow at this month, but it delays for several months, which actually leads to, at the long run, will lead to some losses here and there. But for if you have good management, you can be able actually to tackle some of these things and eliminate some of these cows in your farm and be able to actually be making a very good business from it.
I know you have mentioned about those challenges. How are you able to overcome them?
One, when it comes to fodder, we decided we are going to lease land and be able to grow. We have at least 5 acres of land in total. So we are able to grow our fodder year in, year out. So that even when there is drought, we are able to do irrigation. The other thing is we have at least a borehole that is producing water. So at least in the farm, we are able to, with a small piece of land we have, we are always generating more silage from it. The other thing is about quality of feeds. Now, instead of actually for purchasing the feeds from the shop, the feeds actually change now and then. The quality changes. For this season, the quality has changed depending on how the materials are. To overcome that challenge, the best thing we did is actually to be able to make our own feeds from the quality source materials that we source for ourselves, depending on the requirements of our cow. And that challenges, we are able actually to overcome it. Some of their challenges are like animal challenges from breeding, conception, all those, we actually tackle that through breeding to be able to eliminate that in the future offsprings in our cows.
There's something interesting you have mentioned about raising land, and that's where I generate a new topic of for me to be a dairy farmer, should I own a land? Should I raise a land to become a dairy farmer? Which way is the way to go?
You know, one of the things I always tell my farmers, if you want to do a dairy, before you even start that dairy farming business, first of all, do a business plan. When you do a business plan, you'll be able to actually gauge the viability. And if you're in an area whereby you don't have land, you'll also factor in the land issue. You can actually lease land and actually do dairy farming and make profit. Now the issue is, where is the land located and other resources are they available, and the cost of the land. If you're able to actually lease a very good land, the same way the crop people are actually doing, you can be able to lease a land, have your own structure separately, and actually grow your own fodder. And the best thing about dairy farming, the one thing I like about it is, you'll have a skill about dairy farming, but because the dairy cows are feeding on fodder, which is a crop, you'll also have some skill in growing crops. So meaning, when you have excess fodder, even on the leased land, you can actually be selling the excess fodder when you do not need it. So it's a matter of actually having your own business plan and be able going out to the field, doing your own survey, and actually be able to determine, is it actually viable if I lease land, and is it viable if I have my own land. But look at around your area. How many idle land do you see? That the people who live there, you can be able to pay them approximately 7,000 a year or 10,000 and be able to utilize the same land and produce fodder. That you can be able to produce your own silage even less than 10 shillings, which is actually less than what is being sold in the market. So it's about you determining, is your business viable in terms of purchasing land or actually leasing land, or actually even using that plot where you have a small plot, have your cow shed there, and actually source fodder outside. So business plan is very key, and to be able to determine the business viability and actually the how you're actually going to raise funds to actually start that business.
Since I started my journey to travel to farms, to visit farms, maybe sometimes because I also offer consultant services like you do. I have a consultancy agency that is called Agri Hard Dynamics. One of the challenges that have come to experience with a lot of farms is that because a hard health management is a bigger topic, and how are you able to manage diseases in your farms?
One of the things is diseases are not actually managed by actually treating. You manage diseases by not allowing them to be in the farm in the first place. So one of the things we do is we ensure our cows have a very good hygiene. If you previously, I think I told you we clean at least 3 times in a day. That means by cleaning 3 times in a day, that cows are we are actually expelling like things like mycetes. The other thing, if you note in the farm, is all enclosed, meaning we have no dogs in the stray dogs in the farm. We have no visitors without appointment. And a lot of people are not allowed in and out. The other thing is a lot of in terms of nutrition. To avoid nutritional diseases, we ensure we have quality feeds from both fodder, and we also have very good quality mineral salts and also very good concentrates. For that, we eliminate what we call the nutrition disorders that can come in the farm. The other thing is we also do what we call vaccination to our cows. And what I call about vaccination are the normal vaccinations that in some of these diseases that are available, like what we do is foot and mouth, what we call the lumpy skin, and anthrax, and several other diseases. We ensure we do the vaccination. The most important thing that you do in the farm to be able to actually control also some of these diseases is ensuring we have the records. For example, if you have a cow that we always treat mastitis now and then, what we do is we ensure that we breed very well to be able to extract to be able to actually eliminate that trait from the offsprings, so that if that mastitis probably within the lactation period occurred more than 3 times, that cow is made to be disposed, to be slaughtered, and being sold as meat. But the offsprings that it will leave, we ensure that we serve with semen that has low somatic cells, and we'll be able to reduce the chances of the same diseases to our own cows. So for your own security in terms of diseases, biosecurity is very key, and that will save at least more than 80% of the most of these diseases are actually affecting the farm. And the general hygiene and breeding will be good to go. There are some that we cannot avoid. We also treat our cows, but we prevent them before they actually come to the farm, and that has been helpful to us, actually ensuring we lower our cost of production each year.
You have mentioned something interesting, and recently in our country, Kenya, there is this wave of vaccination that the president is addressing. People are sharing different opinions what is your opinion according to maybe vaccination? Because on my side, I'm a vet by profession. On my side, what I can say about vaccination is important in the livestock, but it depends. That's why sometimes I prefer farmers having a different vaccination schedule for their own farm, so at least maybe they can get they have their own, maybe from sourcing them privately from the agencies or wherever they want to source their vaccines from reputable companies, etc. Because without, we say prevention is better than cure. And it is a lucky day today because I'm on the ground, and you can share your opinion about the vaccination. How is it supposed to be addressed, and what is your opinion about it?
Vaccination is very key. First of all, it has been very helpful for animals. But now the issue comes in with the vaccination that is being addressed, is being alleged. The reason why I'm against about that is because I have no information about the vaccination of that. What is being vaccinated against? But the other normal vaccination that have been in the market for the longest time, those ones are very helpful, like the foot and mouth, the anthrax, lumpy skin, and many other diseases, even including the rabies. So those ones, I'm not against them at all, at all, at all. What I'm being concerned is this vaccination that we are being told is not a vaccine that we know about it. They haven't done what we call a public participation, whereby I can actually explain to you how it's going to work. The other thing is the Kenya Veterinary Board has not come out and told us this is a vaccine because of a certain disease that have been spreading, and they haven't even done trials where they can prove to us we have done these trials for the last 5 years and it's working on our side. So, and the last thing is, in the same country, is where we have a constitution that says, a bylaw that says, if in any case, any losses happens during the vaccination or after the vaccination, the government will not be liable. So, something that is completely new, but yet you cannot be even liable about any losses that will happen to the farm. And you're not giving us the details of what will actually happen to these cows. Definitely I'm against that. But the other normal vaccination, if you miss them, you'll actually be incurring more costs in terms of treatment. So when it comes to people, farmers who are able to actually to raise more than 20 cows and above, you can actually have your own schedule for vaccination, and you can actually be purchasing, liaising with your vet, and you can be able to purchase these vaccines. Like the foot and mouth, you can be able to purchase them and actually vaccinate your cows. But now the biggest challenge is for those who are small scale farmers who are actually doing 2-3 animals, whereby the cost of actually purchasing the vaccine, yet it comes on a larger pack of probably 80 cows and some even 30 or 50 cows, it becomes a challenge. But in cases for where people have a lot of cows, we can actually be purchasing those vaccines and be able to vaccinate what you know you are vaccinating against. Now the rest, which is we are being told about, those ones, let them first vaccinate the animals and tell us the results probably after 2-3 years. And from there, if it works for them, they can actually come and tell us to actually vaccinate after giving us results and actually the good benefits that it contributes to production in the same industry. Lastly, the same government that wants to vaccinate these cows is the same government that's not actually supporting us in terms of production. The cost of feeds are skyrocketing. They're not talking about it, so that at least every farmer can be able to produce. What else? The management aspect. The prices of cows is going very high because purchasing power is actually being very low. So, if the government actually wants to help us in actually lowering the cost of production by actually lowering the cost of feeds, lowering the cost of electricity, that other amenities that are used in processing of milk, and that one we can actually be saying it's actually working than actually giving us a vaccine that we have no idea, or even we don't know what will happen to our cows later on, which, and if anything negative happens, they'll not be liable of. So the total loss will be to the farmer, and that risk is very high for me as a farmer to actually partake it.
Earlier we were having a discussion, and I heard you mention about price market. There's a problem with the market. How have you been able to get rid of that problem, and how have you been able to solve that challenge?
Challenge of market is becomes down to prices, whereby in case of milk, the cooperatives are buying at a very low price. So what we do is we sell our milk into 3 markets. One is the cooperative, The second one is to individuals. And the third one is to people who are actually going to resell the same milk that are not actually in a cooperative. And what you get is the cooperative gives us at least a lesser amount. Then selling to individuals will give us at least around 60 shillings. Also selling to those who are going to resell the milk again, we get at least 55 or 50 shillings from it. Compared to a cooperative, where sometimes can give you as low as 40 shillings, whereas your product cost of production is very high. So by that, we're actually able to get some cash flow in it. The other thing is by doing a good management and the business plan, whereby at least after some few steps, we're able to dispose 1 or 2 cows, which will be a total profit to the farm. And we also do some consultation, which actually help in growing the farm.
You know, I know there is a lot of dairy farmers outside there, but I could ask a question on their behalf and ask about this. How do I know that my dairy farm is profitable?
One, for you to be able to mean what we mean by profit is you to be able to have to feed your cow on 100 shillings and actually getting back 150 shillings, meaning you have a 50 shilling extra. For you to be able to run a profitable dairy farming, it all starts from personal planning. And planning comes in, plan your fodder during the season. That means you're able to purchase or actually produce your fodder at a very low cost. And for you to be much safer, keep your fodder that can last you more than 6 months. And if possible, go up to 2 years. That means if you preserved it when the cost of production was very low and able to get your silage from 7 shillings, 5 shillings per kg and store it, that is an advantage to you. The other thing is ensuring you reduce the cost of veterinary services. And by that, we have talked about biosecurity. The other thing is the number of cows producing, the ratio between cows that are producing and non-producing cows. Always ensure 60% of your cows are producing in the farm, so that you can be able to actually have something as a profit and also be able to manage others. But the moment you have more non-producing cows in the farm and less producing cows, you'll be actually be feeding, you actually be managing your farm on the negative side. So, and for that matter, we actually go to the farm, do an assessment, and actually help you to actually have a good plan and actually do a recommendation for you to be able to actually be making profit in the farm. So all that from feed management, your business plan, and your own breeding, because you can't be telling me you're actually producing, your cost of production is almost 40 shillings, then you're selling your milk at 39 shillings. That is a negative. But at the same time, you can have very good management and be able to feed your cows very well, produce milk at as low as 30 shillings or 35 shillings, and also sell at 40 shillings, which can also be helping your farm grow slowly by slowly. Sawa.
Running a farm for the last 6 years as a youth, how can you say that dairy farming has impacted your life, maybe, and the people around you or the community? How has dairy farming impacted?
One thing about dairy farming, everything I have is all about the cows. One, we have we have done a lot of projects. We have actually invested in our own selves through dairy farming. And I think the best thing, it has made me interact with a lot of farmers who are actually, whereby I get my own inspiration, because also as a farm, we also look up to someone else. We're actually doing better than what we are doing. So, and through that, we're able to interact with a lot of people, a lot of farmers, and be able actually to learn. Because despite what we learned in school, what we learn from other people sometimes gives us a more mileage compared to what we learned in school. Because there are things that we didn't learn in school, but people are doing outside here that are actually helpful and help you grow in the same business. One of the other things that I've learned in the business is dairy farming is not a business where you can make a profit of 100 shillings per liter. So it's a low margin business, but with volumes, the amount is very good. Now, one thing that's taught me is about financial management. Because one thing in a farm is, if you do not manage your own finances, it will be on crisis. Because you can actually extract a lot of money from the dairy farm and end up even extracting what is supposed to be fed to the cows. And through that, it has helped me actually been engaging with a lot of people in the financial industry and be able to manage our finances here and there, and also learn on how we can be able to run it as a business, and also what we get from the same business, invest it somewhere else that it grows and actually as a security form of the farm itself.
There is a young person watching this video who is interested maybe to start a dairy farm, or also a farmer somewhere is watching and maybe have been running the business for some time. So there's a farmer who is, or there's a person interested to start dairy farming. What is your advice to them?
For the person who wants to start dairy farming, it's not about, actually, it's not something that you have to start with the millions. You can start with a dairy farming journey with a single cow and actually grow with time. But as we go back, the same factor, have a goal, a written goal in your own business plan, so that if I'm starting with one cow, probably I'll be serving it with the sex semen. So every year I'll be having a calf, probably with a 95% chances a heifer. Then you can be able to breed that heifer and grow slowly by slowly. By the time you are 5 years, 6 years, we'll be talking about a farm that has probably 7 cows or 8 cows, and you'll be growing. The other thing is, before you start dairy farming, first of all, know what is a cow. And what I mean by what is a cow is, know the requirement of that cow, where it's supposed to sleep. Know the feed requirement of that cow, which will go back down to nutrition, the requirement of that cow. And that will help you to determine the type of forage you are going to grow or you are going to keep. And even before you bring your own cow, ensure you store feeds that can last you at least 6 months and above. And if possible, the best way is actually to store feed that will last you a whole year. If you do that, go ahead, start. Yes, I can tell you not to start with a calf. I can tell someone else not to start with a milking cow. But all that again boils down to the financial strength of each person. Suppose there's someone else who doesn't have a lot of money to buy a cow at 200,000, but he can be able to get a calf at a probably a lesser price of around 20,000. And through that, yes, the cost will be very high of rearing the calf, but it won't be instant. It's whereby you'll be feeding your cow on those small amounts that you have, and slowly by slowly you'll head there. But if you have the money, I'll advise someone who actually has the resources to actually go for an in-calf heifer that's probably 5 months and above, so that you'll have a lesser time to actually be feeding that cow and it will be productive. And for those who are experienced enough, you can actually buy even a milker by actually knowing on how to look on the good traits and actually eradicating some of the challenges that are in the farm. So every person, depending on your financial strength, depending on the resources that you have, start where you are. But key factors: have a business plan, have a specific goal, have for the security, and you'll be good to go.
You know, in businesses, people are hit in differently. There's always ups and downs for a business person, because you are running the farm with passion and the business mindset. What is your daily mantra as a farmer, that today if you wake up and found your business has been affected in a major way? What is your daily mantra that you wake up every day and say, I'll continue to be a farmer, even tomorrow I'll be just a dairy farmer, even in the next 10 years I'll still be a farmer? What is your daily mantra?
One of the things is, if you mix business with pleasure, what we call interest, sometimes it becomes a tricky thing. For example, there was a time when we lost a cow. And when you lose a cow, you go even for 3 days, stressed, not even having a good sleep. So what I did is, I learned to separate myself from the business, whereby it's the business itself. So if a cow dies, you're not keeping all those challenges in your heart and being stressful. We still have to push on. And the other thing is, we decided, despite farming being a passion, it should be a passion that makes money. Because you cannot be keeping cows that will actually be feeding on you to a point whereby you'll actually be dying of stress. So you want to think about farming. If you can separate the two and be able to do, this is a business and this is my passion, Yes, might be your passion, but it also has limits. For example, you can't be actually going negative of every year you're going up negative of millions of money, yet you can actually close down the farm and save the millions that you're losing. That's how. And all boils down to your financial strategy, your financial goals, and where you want to be. And that is why each year you have to do an assessment of your own farm to determine, did that farm make business sense? Am I able to actually, can I reduce these cows? Can I increase them? And can I make what decision am I going to make in this farm? And that will be brought out by keeping your own records and actually doing the same activity as a business. Because if you do it as leisure, you will not be able to actually manage your finances. And at the long run, instead of even keeping your cow at the good environment, you'll actually be you will even be making the cow to suffer. Because if something is if something you're doing it as for leisure, that means it's not compulsory. So you'll get to a point whereby even I can't feed even that cow properly because it's for leisure purposes. So it will feed tomorrow very well. So by that even you'll be actually making your cow to suffer in your own hands. So to my advice is, let it be a business. The same way you operate that shop, the same way you actually go to that office, you are never late on that office. The same way you actually push so hard to increase that pay slip of yours. The same way you actually ensure the human resource in that shop of your shop is actually done. The same way you ensure that you pick stock. The same way you ensure you do your monthly assessment is the same way you should actually be doing in the farming business. So that important decision can be made and be made at the right time. And sometimes the decisions might be as hard as closing down the farm to actually save your financial crisis.
I forgot to ask about something important. How have you been able to manage the cost of production?
Cost of production, we are able to manage that cost by actually producing our own fodder and making our own concentrates. Yes, at some point, our concentrate go very high. For example, right now we are producing a bag of 70 kgs at 3,500 Kenya shillings. But the best thing is we ensure we have all the ingredients in it. That means for us to be able to produce around 25 to 27 liters, we only need 5 kgs. Whereas previously, for us to be able to produce around 25 to 28 kg, 25 to around the 27 liters, we are feeding the same cow around 8 9 kgs or 10. So by that, when you do our cost of production assessment, we realize, so even if we have the quality but quite expensive, and we are feeding less, we are still saving money in the long run. The other thing is ensuring that our fodder is harvested during the season, whereby we are not doing a lot of irrigation, so meaning we are having fodder on rain fed, we have reduced the cost. And the other thing is we are able to even buy fodder when it's season, so that we can be able to buy at a very low price and keep them. The other thing we do is biosecurity, so that these diseases that actually increase the cost of veterinary services are actually lowered. And the last thing that we do is we ensure that our cows have all they need and regular checkup, so that we can be able to know if a challenge is approaching, we can be able to defend before it actually invests itself in the farm, and be able to actually manage and save some of these costs.
I know you cannot be able to exploit all the information from just one video, and there's someone who is watching who is interested to reach out to you. Anaweza kupataje? Mkulima anaweza kupataje maybe for consultation services, because you offer consultancy services. And I had other suggestion. I've interacted with almost 100 plus farmers, and most of them have come to even the purpose of this channel is to access knowledge and to share wisdom with farmers. I have maybe I can have, it is a kind of a request. What if, because the challenge is that farmers are lacking the knowledge and the wisdom to run their farm. What if maybe early next year, 2025, we decide to come up with a master class where we offer the knowledge, maybe at a fee, maybe for a few hours, the basics and how to run a farm. But for now, just share the details for someone who want to reach out, where they can reach out.
Okay, one thing I know about farming, you learn every day. And the best thing about us and being youth is because we are in the digital era, meaning we are able to put what we know out there and also learn from other people. And for me as Farm with Paul, you can actually reach me through my phone, through my WhatsApp, or even a phone call at 0712 460 899. Alternatively, you can get us on TikTok, where we post short videos of the various things we do in the farm, of the various aspects of farming, as Farm with Paul. On YouTube is where we post longer videos of a lot of issues that are affecting us, from calf rearing, construction of a cow shed, how to make silage, how to manage calf. All those videos are on our YouTube channel at Farm with Paul. And also on Facebook, we actually do that. We post on Farm with Paul. And if you need our services, you can contact us through either our social media by actually sending us a message, or actually calling the number that I've provided. And by that, we are going to do that. In terms of a masterclass, that's a plan for 2025, which is actually in a few weeks away.
Not weeks, days.
Days, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm planning actually that. And according to me, because the knowledge of dairy farming is very wide, we'll be planning a class that we can actually take around a whole month. At least once in a week, we have 2 hours, learn something, and interact with other farmers in the same sector. So watch out on this channel, the CEO's channel. According to me, because the knowledge of dairy farming is very wide, we'll be planning a class that we can actually take around a whole month. At least once in a week, we have 2 hours, learn something, and interact with other farmers in the same sector. So watch out on this channel, the CEO's channel, and watch out on my channels. And we're actually going to announce after we are done the preparation, so that you can be able to have a master class and actually have a training session whereby we can actually help farmers who are actually doing farming, who want to start farming, and who actually inspire to be farming, to do farming in terms of dairy, or even in the future other animals that we have already interacted with.
You have heard from the horse's mouth, so make sure that you improvise, make sure you run something from this video, because Paul is a specialist in this industry and he has shared a lot of knowledge with us today. So make sure that today you run something. I know the moment I'll be posting this video, I'll be posting it on either date on 28th or 29th. And the only thing that I can advise you farmers, that before you get into that new year 2025, make sure you set your goals. And remember, farming is just, agriculture is more than work, is a way of life. You can never run away from farming, and you can never run away from agriculture. At the end of the day, you are the consumer of agricultural products. Yeah, thank you so much, Paul, for the insights and sharing your journey with us today. Your story is an inspiration to anyone looking to get into dairy farming, and I'm looking forward to bigger steps that we'll be making soon, because we need to change the industry. And the other advice to the farmers, try to join the online families, because online you will learn a lot. We are sharing stories. I'm here traveling different farms so that you can share different farmer story. Yeah, and look forward to bigger and better days, because better days are coming. Thank you so much, Paul.
Karibu.
Great for your time. Yeah. You know, the last time I visited your farm, you had a small, I could call you a small scale farm at that time. I was personally, I was starting, and
you're around 5, only 5. But then we had around 6 cow, 5, around 5. Right now we doubled, we are at 12. Probably in the next 2 months, we'll be probably be around 18 and growing. Every day we are growing, day in, day out, growing, because we have nothing else to do apart from this farming business. And the best thing is, ikikubali and also makes business sense, you keep pushing.
I can't wait to visit you in the next 5 years.
Probably ndakuwa naenda na ndege.
Remember to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're on a journey to share million stories. And if you are a farmer and you are watching this episode, kindly make sure and you are ready to share your story. Kindly invite me to your farm. Let's travel the world. Let's share your story to the world. Let's tell the farmer story, because farmers have untold stories, and we have to speak out, because like currently the government is Not talking about the cost of production, as Paul has mentioned about the cost of feeds, they are skyrocketing. Poultry farmers are being affected, and the prices. It is only in farming that you buy things at retail price and you sell your products at a wholesale price, which is a bigger problem. And as farmers, if we join our hands together, we can win this war. So join the online platform. Remember to follow all my channels. Remember to follow me on Mkulima Young. Also, remember to book your consultation session at AgriHard Dynamics. It is a new consultation agency that I introduced the other day, but I'll be sharing more details. Thank you. I can't wait to offer my advice to you.